All right, everybody, welcome in. Concrete Jungle, New York baseball podcast coming to you guys live from the third floor of the North Park building. That's right, FingerLakes1.com studios. Paul Russo, to my right, Kyle Evans, across from us, manning the machine, Nate Sharman. Boys, happy Friday. Kyle, a little bit red, a little burnt again.
Yeah, I have trouble staying out of the sun and not using sunscreen, but I'm doing way better than last time. I mean, my arms don't hurt, so that's good.
It doesn't hurt to move.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good. Nate, everything all good in the hood over there?
Yep, a little jealous that Kyle was able to go to Bill's camp, but one of us was able to go.
It is a public event.
That's true.
But tickets were sold out,
I know,
so it's
yeah.
hard to grab them.
I know.
I mean, the team is going to win the Super Bowl.
I just enjoy teasing Nate because obviously this is a baseball podcast, but I enjoy peeling back the curtain a little bit.
Well, I can't wait until we throw a little Amherst stuff in.
But it's funny you mentioned that because Nate this morning tells me that Brian Gianta is it a golf tournament or whatever, or
No, I believe it's a charity hockey tournament up in
Okay.
Rochester. Starts tomorrow, I believe.
Nate's favorite Sabre of all time, Brian Gianta.
He's a good guy.
So
He may not be Mr. Amrick Jody Gage, but he's right up there.
it's funny you mentioned that, considering that I forever love Mr. Erie Otter Craig McKegg so much. So, anyway, look, the New York City-based baseball teams have had quite the interesting week. A little bit of tale of two different that kind of culminating in this rivalry weekend of sorts for both. Obviously, Yankees up in Boston, the Mets are hosting Philly, but it was a very good series, obviously overall for the Mets. Yankees lost the series, able to take the opener. We'll obviously discuss all that. The minor league teams, Rochester and Syracuse, interesting weeks themselves. Rochester finally gets out of the losing column for the first time in
27 days.
And that's Mets were on like a 3-game losing streak and snapped that last night as well. But a lot to get to, a lot of different things to discuss. Friday, happy Friday, We'll jump right in. Start the Yankees, right? So I think, we were probably both overconfident on Monday a little bit about the Yankees and how we felt with Seattle, but we both kind of preface it with, Seattle is a very pesky team. They're very good, obviously. I think a lot of the baseball world has kind of recognized now at this point that they are good. I don't want to outright say it because I feel like the more people talk about it, the more it might happen this way. But look, they have the longest playoff drought in baseball. I believe it's actually pro sports now, actually, at least in America now that I'm thinking about it. I could be wrong, but 2001, right?
Yep.
I was in second grade.
And we won't talk where I was. So keep going.
Kyle was breathing.
Keep moving on.
Nate was, I think, in preschool or something. So, and look, to be fair, I do want to say this. I thought the Yankee pitching throughout the series was really good. Obviously, the offense more or less was shut down for the overall most part. Start with obviously Monday's game, a 9-4 Yankee victory. Jamison Tyone gets the win, moves to 11-2 on the year with that. ERA back down to sub 4, I guess, a 3.95 ERA, kind of hanging tough there. Logan Gilbert, the loss for Seattle, I mentioned it a few weeks ago, but he is one of the better young arms in the game right now, and now a lot of people realize it. Loss puts him at 10-5 with 3.74 ERA. Top performers, obviously Tyone goes 7 innings, 3 hits, 3 earned, 3 walks, and 6 strikeouts. Very good performance by him. Aaron Judge staying hot once again. If there's any Yankee bat throughout the whole series that at least was showing up game in and game out, it was Aaron Judge. Monday, 2 for 4, a home run, a double, hit by pitch, RBI, and 2 runs scored for him. And then Josh Donaldson on Monday really did have himself a game, 4 for 5, a home run with 2 doubles, 3 RBIs, and 3 runs scored. Offensively, this was probably the bright spot out of the series. Pitching-wise, obviously good to see Tyone bounce back. Been a rough few starts for him and really come out with a good quality start.
Yeah, a 4-hit game for Donaldson definitely doesn't feel real.
No.
And then the following day, Tuesday, doesn't even feel real either, as
Mhm.
you'll discuss. 1-0 loss in 13 innings.
Yeah.
I don't know. That was just the wildest game I watched. Ended at like 2:20 in the morning.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know how nobody could score bad base running, but yeah, just a weird series.
Mhm. And then obviously with Donaldson again, touch on that. The bringer of rain in the rain city, as Nate calls Seattle. Um, but it's needed now at this point. Obviously we had the Matt Carpenter injury pop up. We'll discuss that obviously more in a few minutes overall. But Donaldson now is going to have to really kind of step up, and hopefully the Yankees get production out of him like they hope really since he got brought over in the
Yeah.
in the deal with Minnesota.
I don't think he'll be consistent though because we've seen this hot streak in
Yeah.
June and it only lasted for like 2 weeks.
Right.
And he's back to his terrible strikeout every time.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying he's got to be doing whatever, but I mean, it's gonna be hard to kind of replace what Carpenter had been doing in that lineup. Obviously, you mentioned it Tuesday night into Wednesday morning for pretty much I think everybody in the continental U.S. Seattle 1-0 victory in the 13th inning. Matt Brash picked up the win. Out of the bullpen was a starter for the Mariners to start the year. Another good young rookie for them. 3-3 on the year, a 5.40 ERA. Jonathan Loizaga takes the loss, moves to 1-3 on the year. ERA slightly above 6.5 at 6.57. Garrett Cole got the start there. No decision. 7 innings pitched, 4 hits, and 8 strikeouts. Andrew Benintendi went 1 for 5 with a stolen base, and Aaron Judge 1 for 3 with 2 walks. Again, I want to talk about pitching here first. Garrett Cole, really good start once again. And things are trending for him in the right direction. Nate has the tweet up for us here. Take a look at some of those numbers there. Obviously, look, I understand where a lot of people might go here. Looking at that, it's a lot of metric stuff in that tweet. Obviously, you can look at however you really want, but to me, the main stuff here within the last 6 starts: the K rate, the walk rate, and 39 innings pitched. That's extremely good, especially considering the month of June wasn't exactly ideal for Garrett Cole.
Yeah, and he had that one bad outing against Seattle last week where he gave up 6 runs in the first inning. But yeah, he's been a lot better than he was to start off the year. Remember when he got pulled in like
Right.
the 3rd inning in what was it? Detroit, I believe.
Yeah.
He's just much better now. It just sucks that they wasted his performance again. I feel like that's kind of been a theme this year with him, wasting some of his really good performances, and yeah, just tough for him not to get any run support.
Yeah, and then obviously I mentioned Judge Ray. A solid job for him there. Benintendi, I know, kind of had some news pop up about him and how his swing for contact approach might actually backfire at Yankee Stadium. And I don't read too much into that. I mean, if you're a good hitter, things will happen. It's kind of like one of the mantras I tell the guys I help out with. If you just swing the ball, do the rest. Yeah, you mentioned the base running. Tough go of it, obviously, especially in extra innings and really points before at some points throughout the year with the Yankees. It's kind of been a bit of a, I want to say outright problem in the Boone era, but it's an underrated issue, I think, that people don't discuss. Obviously, I think a lot of people look back at the Phil Nevin stuff at third base and the third base box the past few seasons, and some of the stuff that occurred there. Obviously now Luis Rojas is there, former Met manager. But some of the stuff that happened yesterday or during the series, specifically, obviously, the extra inning game on Tuesday, that's not base coach related, first or third base. That comes down to preparation, whether it's spring training or points in between player and the general coaching staff at that point.
Yeah, it is a little weird though because if you look at the numbers until that night, like they weren't that bad. They weren't getting out as much on the bases as they were the previous few years. So it's just very alarming to see them do the same mistakes and back-to-back innings in extra innings in a game that was 0-0. Like I don't know why they were being like it's okay to be aggressive, but what they were doing is just it made no sense. It was like Little League. It's like what are you guys doing? And you could tell Boone was really upset in the dugout when he was watching it happen and honestly, that's the reason they lost the game. they had runners on so many times, and they just ran themselves out of the inning.
And I do want to give a quick shout out here because I know a lot of people enjoy dunking on him, and myself included at certain points, obviously, when he was at Oakland. But props to Lou Trevino for working out of his own jam that he created in the 12th inning.
And shout out to Wandy, too.
Yeah, I was going to say Wandy pitched really well as well. Like I said, I mean, the pitching's been collectively really great overall. And I think it's tough to put a lot of blame on Loizica with that game. In those game situations, right, something's got to break at some point in that scenario. And it just pretty much happened that the ball shot the gap more than anything. That's baseball sometimes, right? I mean, just kind of have to move on and brush it off and go to another day.
And the thing is, they had to bring Loizica in. I mean, they were getting very thin. I mean, it's the 13th inning.
I mean, yeah, at that point, you're going to bring in this is my mantra anyway. At that point, you're going to bring in somebody who, can go at that point, presumably multiple innings of work.
I know. I think only Lucas Lidke was left, and there was one other guy that I wouldn't trust, especially in a tight game like that.
No, Lidke, you're probably going to leave for a lefty. Obviously, Loizica came up through the minors as a starter and stretch guy anyway.
It was Albert Abreu.
Yeah.
And then he ended up struggling the following.
Right. So, obviously, on Wednesday you teed it up, right? A 4-3 Seattle victory. Penn Murphy, 3-0, got the victory out of the bullpen for Seattle. 2.36 ERA for him now. You mentioned the aforementioned Albert Abreu moves to 2-2 with the loss. 2.91 ERA for him. And then Paul Sewald got the save for the Mariners, his 15th on the year. Top performers, Kyle Higashioka had a 2-run home run. Good job for him. Aaron Judge, once again, 1 for 2, a home run with 2 walks. And then Nestor Cortez got the start. No decision. 6-inning pitch, 3 hits, 3 earned, and 10 strikeouts. But Cortez, once again, really showing his worth. Another really just great pitching performance for him. Thank you, Nate, for getting this pretty much stats up there. That's all his stuff across the big leagues so far this year. Again, a lot of metric numbers on there, but that being said, if you're sitting in the top 10 with your K to walk ratio and rates like that, you're a top end guy. And for the Yankees, I think to me the tweet's probably underselling it a little bit. I think it probably depends a little bit where Severino comes back in and stuff like that. But I mean, to me, and I know we got Frankie Montas in this mix as well at this point, and Tyone deserves some credit. But to me, Cortez is my de facto Game 2, not Game 3 starter in the playoffs.
Yeah, and these numbers are even with him having that rough stretch. Yeah. I think it was like a month where he was just getting hit hard, and I think his adjustments really worked. Probably shout out to Matt Blake for working with him. I'm excited to see him in a postseason game. It would be his first career start in a postseason game. Hopefully he's not the guy that gets too rattled, which I don't think he is that guy, but you never know. Severino has struggled in postseason play. So, we'll have to see, but he'll definitely be an important piece in the rotation for postseason games.
Hopefully moving forward as well. I mean, this is a guy who obviously was with the Yankees before. I mean, we all know the story, and hopefully this becomes a more long-term relationship, hopefully, with Cortez as long as everything stays good. All right. And then obviously, I mentioned Aaron Judge and just the absolute, kind of hot streak he's still on coming out of the All-Star break. Kind of similar to how he got out of the gates, I feel like in a lot of ways, kind of start the year in a way. A lot of, I think, kind of what I call the gusto, the moxie, obviously during the All-Star break, a lot of discussion surrounding, obviously, his future with the Yankees. And kind of similar, I guess, in a way of how the year got going in that sense as well. So, to me anyway, I don't think it matters, but I think he's definitely playing with that motivation still to go out and show the Yankees that they should probably give him a blank check of some sort.
Yeah, and I love how he's actually really not just hitting home runs. He's just getting huge hits when they need them. I mean, look at his average. He keeps going over 300, a little bit below, but never really too far below 300. And he's just, it seems like always coming up with a big hit. And if the Yankees didn't have Aaron Judge, this would look much, much worse.
Oh, for sure. This is a completely different team. We're probably talking in the thick of the AL East race still, but probably, where really the Tampa Bay Rays probably sit, in all honesty.
Yeah, for sure. And even his defense, I don't think a lot of people, give him enough credit. Like, he saves a lot of runs just by his arm. Guys won't test his arm because they know better, and it's fun to watch him.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's touch on some news and notes. Obviously, the main storyline out of Seattle this week ended up being what is technically Matt Carpenter, infield, outfield. I have him listed as utility only because he's played both of this.
That's what I kind of refer to him as utility man.
But anyway, Matt Carpenter, good news, will not need surgery on his broken foot. Revealed that he actually, in Seattle, went and saw the Seattle Seahawks specialist. And we have I guess, probably the best news is a clean break here. The tentative timeline is 6 to 8 weeks for him to return. That pretty much puts him at somewhere along the lines of mid to late September, depending upon how things work out. You look at I saw an interesting graphic of guys with similar injuries that Matt Carpenter's got. Some of them have been back as soon as 4 weeks, others like a year. I think this ended up being a best case scenario in a worst news situation.
Yeah, see, I mean, obviously I want Carpenter to return, but yes, he could return in mid-September, but he's not gonna be able to swing this entire time while he's trying to work his way back. So I'm just concerned, is he gonna get back and have his same struggles that he had before he got to New York? I just don't know if he's actually gonna be the same exact player when he comes back, and that's a little concerning to me because he was actually a really big part.
No, and I mean it's a justifiable concern. Not gonna sit here and deny that. Where I do think I probably differ a little bit with you is I don't know if he would have had the same role anyway come in the September, beginning of October.
Yeah, I don't think he would start every postseason game.
Yeah, I mean, maybe he does, but I think it'd be more matchup based / who's hot.
Yep.
That tends to be kind of how the postseason goes. The corresponding move there was utility man Miguel Andujar was recalled from AAA Scranton Wilkes-Barre. Get to see more or less what he's got. I mean, he's having a pretty good year down there. Obviously, when he was up at, during May and parts of June, he was showing out pretty well. So it will be interesting. I think Miggy will do well. I don't trust the glove out in the outfield at all. But then again, we really weren't relying too much on Carpenter's glove as much as bat. So really a 1-for-1 swap there potentially. Other than that, the only other really Yankee news to report on is Anthony Rizzo has returned to the lineup after dealing with back discomfort. We saw that on extra day. Booney was just going to be safe with that on Tuesday, but was back on Wednesday and should be all full steam ahead for Rizzo here moving forward.
Yeah, struggled a little bit in his first game back, but I mean, what do you expect? It's good to see him back. I mean, they really need him. Like you kind of mentioned, a lot of teams can pitch around Judge without Rizzo in the lineup. So having him back, it kind of, it's not just easy to walk Judge because you have Rizzo behind him.
Well, I think a lot of it too is I know I mentioned this on Monday was kind of like the accordion effect, right, of having Giancarlo still out kind of takes a little bit of the height. You can't really pitch around Judge in those situations as well, but really hasn't made too much a difference, at least on the Judge end of things, as we'd probably have thought. But either way, yeah, I mean, you mentioned obviously Rizzo's bat's just a plus to have back in the lineup anyway.
Yep.
All right, looking ahead for the Yankees, 3 games in Boston. Obviously, big rivalry anyway, but things certainly probably bigger this time around. Red Sox are reeling a bit still, 55 and 58, fifth in the AL East, 16 and a half games behind the Yankees. Friday, tonight through Sunday matchup. Tonight, 7:10 first pitch on Domingo Germán gets the start for the Yankees, 1-2 on the year, 5.09 ERA. He'll be going against former Yankee himself, Nathan Eovaldi, 5-3, a 4.23 ERA there. Saturday, 7:15 first pitch on Fox. Frankie Montas gets the start, 4-9 rather, a 3.59 ERA. He'll be going against rookie Cutter Crawford, 3-4, a 4.30 ERA for the Red Sox. And on Saturday, Sunday Night Baseball, 7:08 first pitch on ESPN. Jameson Taillon will get the start, 11-2, 3.95 ERA against to be determined for the Red Sox. This would have been potentially where Chris Sale would have been if not for that injury. So who knows what the Red Sox would do. I believe we might see Josh Winkowski there for the Red Sox. However,
and you believe we might see a sweep. Red Sox sweep.
I'd be all for it. Obviously, it's always better in Boston. I always feel like when it's that way, but then again, they always feel better when they come to New York and sweep, as you usually do. Um, I do want to say sweep. I'm not convinced that it happens. In all honesty, I am worried about tonight's game. I know Herman has pitched well the past couple starts since coming back. But for whatever reason, when Eovaldi pitches against the Yankees, he does pitch revenge game style. And something about it worries me. I do think the Yankees take the series, but I do think it's probably not a sweep. I think it's 2-1.
Screw it. I'll say sweep.
Attaboy.
There's nothing like Sunday Night Baseball, Yankees, Red Sox. Pretty awesome.
Yeah. And Jared Carrabba is throwing out the first pitch. Oh,
is he really?
I say that, yeah. Friend of the program, Jared Carrabas, is throwing out the first pitch.
Yeah, maybe we'll get him on someday.
Yeah, maybe. But yeah, I mean, it's gonna be tough. And the Yankees, by the way, 71-41 on the year right now. As we transition over to the Mets, who are 73-39. So the Mets have taken over best record in New York officially. They had Cincinnati in New York earlier this week. The Reds, not good. The Mets sweep, obviously, a 5-1 victory on Monday. Chris Bassett gets the win, moves to 9-7 on the year, 3.39 ERA. Justin Dunn, the loss, 0-1, a 5.79 ERA for him. Bassett went 8 innings, 8 hits, a run, which was not earned, and 8 strikeouts. Starling Marte got the Marte party back on. 2-run home run for him, going 2 for 4 on the day, and a stolen bag for him. Then Tyler Naquin, 1 for 3, a triple, a walk, and 2 RBIs. Obviously, got things going the right way. This offense is now really kind of moving and still firing on all cylinders in a way. We'll touch a little bit more on that in just a second, but obviously always good to start off on the right foot, no matter who the team is that you're facing.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And I also wanted to mention, I remember I was kind of questioning the Mets trade deadline moves, but the guys that they have acquired, like Tyler Naquin, Darren Ruff, and Daniel Vogelbach, they've just been literally key contributors, it seems like, almost every night, especially Naquin. I feel like I've been seeing his name a lot in the box score, which is just huge. Obviously, it hasn't been too big of a time frame with these guys on the team, but, like, it's a really good start to their Met careers.
Obviously, Vogelbach's been in the news here the past couple nights and days. Obviously, he's become a TikTok sensation, a Twitter sensation. His walk-up song is now Milkshakes.
Good one.
I know. Some people aren't fans of the whole entire deal. I love it. Vogie's a man of the people.
Or just aren't fans of the guy in general.
I mean, I'm a big Vogie guy. I'm a big fan of the big guys because I feel represented when my slow pitch softball king Daniel Vogelbach is on and doing good.
Couldn't be me, Paul. Couldn't be me.
You may not like it, specifically now, Yukawa. That is what peak male performance looks like, right there.
Let's see, Nate. Are you a fan?
Go Pirates.
You should have known better. But yeah, I mean, it's always it's good to have cult heroes on the team. Bartolo in nature, I'd say here.
Bring him back. I don't know where he's going to fit, but just bring him back.
I wouldn't be opposed to having Bartolo back in the Big Apple. Anyway, Tuesday was a 6-2 Met victory. Carlos Carrasco gets the win, moves to a very impressive 13-4 on the year. ERA still trending in the right direction, back down from 4, now at 3.76. Mike Minor, the loss, 1-9 now on the year for him, 6.24 ERA. Carrasco, 6 2/3, 7 hits, 2 earned, and 9 strikeouts. Jeff McNeil, 2 for 4, a solo shot for him. RBI came along with the other RBI came with a single. And Darren Ruff, 2 for 4, a double, which was a 2 RBI one, by the way, and 2 in a run scored for him. Obviously, you mentioned Ruff, but I just want to highlight Carrasco. He has certainly gone under the radar once again a little bit. Kind of was even his MO to a degree in Cleveland there for a while.
I thought that was their worst move at the deadline, Ruff.
But yeah, I mean, Ruff obviously did well, but Carrasco even coming out and saying, like, this is probably the best rotation he's ever been a part of and probably one of the best, period. So, yeah, I mean, you mentioned Darren Ruff. Darren Ruff obviously is going to be in there against lefties, Mike Minor a lefty, but the immediate impact that he already had, obviously, Tuesday was big enough. And certainly put the game in a better spot than being 4-2.
Yeah, honestly, My takeaway from the series is that the Reds suck. And if the Mets didn't win that series, there would be a major problem, and I just knew that wasn't the case. Even though the Mets have had rough series, but yeah, the Mets offense is clicking. The pitching's been really solid. That team is just really good. I mean, they've taken over New York in terms of record-wise, which is crazy considering the Yankees were 9 games above them. But yeah, things are going really well in Queens.
Yeah, and then Wednesday, the getaway game, you mentioned, obviously things going well. 10-2 Met victory. Taijuan Walker bounces back, picks up the win. 10-3 now in the year for him, a 3.43 ERA. Loss goes to TJ Zuck, 0-1, a 13.5 ERA for him. Walker, 6 innings pitched, 5 hits, 2 earned, and 5 strikeouts. Tyler Naquin, 2 for 4, had a solo shot, picked up a double and 2 runs scored for him. And then Francisco Lindor, 2 for 3, a walk, a hit by pitch, 2 RBIs, and 3 runs scored. Lindor, kind of the guy flying under the radar in a weird way. I know we've talked on air, a few of us here, about he might be a bit on borrowed time to a degree here, but it's kind of been one of the steady rocks. I mean, he hasn't been out of the lineup really at all for the Mets all year. Him and I think really between like him and Pete Alonso, and Jeff McNeil. I forget that McNeil hasn't really missed time at all either. I mean, they're kind of the ones holding it down through that lineup as the season's gone on. And as the stat here, SNY proves, I mean, third in F4, it's pretty good for Francisco Lindor. I mean, the 2 guys ahead of him, Arenado and Goldschmidt, are pretty much carrying the Cardinal offense right now, so it's a little bit different. But the fact that Lindor is above, look, the guys that we talk about really so much constantly, especially in the facto second half of the year between Alonso and McNeil, even to get out of the gate like Alonso and Marte, that's really, really good to see from the investment standpoint that the Mets have given Lindor.
Yeah, Lindor is much better than he was last year. He had his struggles last year, and this year it kind of seems like he's way more consistent. He's always a contributor. And then even when he's struggling, you got guys in the lineup that just picks him up, and that's the best part about this team is no matter who's struggling, there's other guys that'll pick each other up, even the bottom of the order. Like some nights you look and you got Tomas Nido contributing and kind of leading the offense. Like that's what makes a team really good is just having guys that just step up.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a very positive deadline, and what ended up being, I think a lot of people didn't like what the Mets did. And sure, you probably want a bit of a bigger splash, but I mean, sometimes it's the chemistry aspect of it off, right, is big. And you look at, you mentioned, a guy like Naquin, Lindor obviously has been here now for a while. I mean, Vogelbach's blended in pretty well, obviously, is a fan favorite to say the least. Obviously the pitching, Scherzer, DeGrom, stuff like that. I mean, they got a really good thing going. Then Edwin Diaz wasn't used at all week.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Very rarely do we get to say this in our news and notes, but no news tends to be good news for the Mets and baseball teams in general. No injuries, no transactions really to report outside of one. Dom Smith was activated off the injured list and optioned to AAA Syracuse. So, knock on wood, but that's pretty awesome for the Mets. They actually haven't had a listable new injury or injury update in 9 days.
If he was healthy, I feel like he wouldn't be here right now. That's just my thought, me thinking out loud.
Yeah, I mean, something that we discussed back, really, I remember in June was him potentially being a trade piece, since where would they've put him when they sent him down. So.
And he does not belong in AAA.
No. So I think they're doing kind of like what they're doing with Peterson more than anything, probably just kind of keeping him loose and hot and active. All right, for the Mets, they themselves have rivalry weekend as well. They host the Philadelphia Phillies. Phillies 62-49, third in the NL East, 10.5 back. Big one for both teams here potentially. Tonight, 7:10 first pitch on one of Kyle Evans' favorite networks to tune in for a baseball game.
I'll make sure to put that one on one of my
Apple
TVs.
TV Plus.
Can't wait.
Ranger Suarez goes for the Fightin' Phils, 8-5, a 3.68 ERA for him. Mad Max Scherzer gets the start from the Mets, 8-2, a 1.98 ERA. Saturday, 7:10 first pitch on your local picks affiliate. Aaronola goes for the Phillies, 8-8, a 3.17 ERA against Jacob DeGrom, 1-0, obviously 2.5 ERA for him. And then Sunday, a 1:40 first pitch, also on your local picks affiliate. Former Met Zach Wheeler, 11-5, a 2.63 ERA against to be determined for the Mets. Hadn't announced anything as of note-taking a little bit ago. So here's the thing. It's going to sound weird given the way I felt about the Yankees. I think this is an ideal pitching matchup weekend for the Mets, in all honesty. And this is big. These games mean a ton, especially given where the Mets are right now in the stretch of playing the Braves and Phillies about 16 times in 18 days or something like that collectively here. I'm going to do it. I'm going to say the Mets get a sweep. Big series. Obviously mentioned that. But this would be a completely different type of momentum shift, all things considered. The way they got out of the year hot, June was a bit of 500 ball for them, but that was all right. They're firing on all cylinders. They get the sweep here. It's like sharks, like Jaws, blood in the water. I think they take it at that point for sure and just run away with it completely.
All right, well, I say Phillies win tonight, Phillies win tomorrow, and Phillies win Sunday. Give me a Philadelphia Phillies sweep.
What?
Yeah.
Wow. I
I'm
was
kidding,
not
I'm
anticipating
kidding.
this.
I'm kidding. 2 of 3 for the Mets.
It's like, wait, what? I'm like, what?
You gotta have a little fun sometimes.
Yeesh. Had me worried.
Yeah, I'm not that clueless.
It's just like, what the hell just happened?
I mean, I don't even really know if the Phillies get one, but, as you say, sweeps are hard, and I don't know. I feel like one of the games they just might not be able to get a win.
Yeah, that's true. But
I also wouldn't be shocked if they did sweep, so.
yeah, like I said, a little bit blood in the water. All right, let's move on and before we head out of here, we talk about our on the farm stuff. The Rochester Red Wings. Look, we have to recap the games on Tuesday and Wednesday first before we get to yesterday. So Tuesday was an 11-4 loss for the Red Wings against the Norfolk Tides. Matt Harvey, yes, that Matt Harvey picked up the win, 3-1. Daniel Ponce de Leon took the loss 0-1, first decision with Rochester this year. Riley Adams, 2-run home run for him, 1 for 4. Andrew Stevenson, dad power, solo home run. And then Jake Alou, who's really been a fantastic call-up from Double-A, 1 for 3 with a double. Kind of been one of the more steadfast bats in the Red Wing order. And came up big again Wednesday, a 9-8 loss for the Red Wings to the Tides. Blaine Knight picked up the win for the Tides, 3-3. Matt Cronin the loss for the Red Wings, and Cole Ueva picked up the save for Norfolk, his 9th on the year. C.J. Abrams, name that you should get accustomed to, hopefully in Rochester here. The key piece really coming back in the Juan Soto deal, former Padre top prospect. Went 2 for 5 with a run and a stolen base. Jake Alou again, big day for him, 3 for 4, a double, a home run, a walk, 2 RBIs, and a run scored. And then John Nogowski, 5 for 5, an RBI, stolen base, and 2 runs scored. Obviously, very big day for him. And obviously, to me, what I've talked about throughout that losing streak that they had, to me, it wasn't so much offense sometimes. It was so much pitching. It could never really get on the same page. But kind of tell at least how the series got going, there was stuff kind of building at least positive momentum for the Red Wings.
Yeah, and if you look at a lot of their losses, they either have the tying or winning run at the plate always, it seems like, in the 9th inning. They just don't ever come through with the big hit. And, yeah, like they came very close to winning that game Wednesday night. Just fell a little short. And then Thursday, as you're going to mention, they finally got back in the win column. And it was just good to see. I mean, losing 19 in a row is just always tough for a team. And a franchise record losing streak, you never want that.
No. The Rochester Red Wings 5, the Norfolk Tides 4 yesterday afternoon at Frontier Field. Logan Verrett picked up the win, 5-7 for him on the year now. Denny Reyes picked up the loss, 0-3 on the year for him for the Norfolk Tides. Jordan Weems picked up the save, his 12th on the year. Verrett went 5 innings in relief, giving up 4 hits, 3 runs, only 1 of which was earned, and 3 strikeouts. Jake Knoll, 2 for 4, a home run with 3 RBIs and a run scored. And then recent addition to the roster, Alex Call, 2 for 3 with a double and a run scored. So a lot of positives, obviously, for Rochester. We're going to look to continue it through the weekend. Couple roster news and notes here, and obviously this will be something we discuss with Syracuse a little bit as well. So left-hand pitcher Carson Tewell was assigned to Double-A Harrisburg from Rochester. Catcher Chris Herman, second baseman Cole Freeman, and shortstop Richard Arena were all released. This is about the time of year you usually see the veteran guys kind of the second wave of them take their release and sign elsewhere. Sterling Sharp as well did this. There's going to be a lot of roster fluidity probably with this team now for sure. I think that's part of the issue a little bit. Right-hand pitcher Mason Thompson was optioned to Rochester from Washington. Right-hand pitcher Will Harris is on a rehab assignment with Rochester from Washington. Outfielder Donovan Casey was sent outright back to Rochester from Washington after being up for a few days. So a lot of positive stuff for the Red Wings here a little bit to me. Obviously getting a win's big. But hopefully get some roster continuity. I know obviously it's good to have veteran presence here, but push comes to shove sometimes. Sometimes you just need to get the young guys get this playing time, get the experience, and get the ball rolling so that way you don't sometimes get caught in these losing streaks. Obviously, you don't never want a 19-game one, but baseball's a game of streaks. Sometimes you just come upon a 5-game losing streak every now and then. And to me, I think this is a very good indication of where the Red Wings and obviously with the parent club Washington probably want to be with this team moving forward.
Yeah, that's the thing though. It's fine to have losing streaks, even of like over 5 games, but to get it at 19, like I've said, I just don't know how that even happened.
Right.
It just seems almost impossible. And I mean, if it wasn't for a 4-run inning yesterday, we could be talking about 20, which is just crazy. I mean, I don't even remember the last 20-game losing streak in any sport. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it's a good win for them. Hopefully they can, bounce back again, or not bounce back, but continue their winning ways tonight and get on a little bit of a roll again.
Yeah. 3 games left against Norfolk this weekend. Tonight, 7:05 first pitch. Cocos Locos night, part of Copa de la Diversión. The Superstars will be there, as well as a fireworks night tomorrow night on Saturday, 7:05 first pitch. Star Wars night. The goodest boy Milo will be retrieving bats and fireworks, and then Sunday, 1:05 first pitch. It's Dino Day at Frontier Field. I know tomorrow night, Saturday, if you care about this type of stuff, DL Hall, one of the Orioles' top prospects, is pitching for Norfolk, and then Matt Harvey's going to Ken for them on Sunday. So if you're into that type of stuff, I know I will be at Frontier Field tonight. So hopefully they snag a win.
Yeah, I was gonna say you missed the promotions. It's Paul Russo night at the ballpark.
Part of me was selfishly hoping that they lost yesterday so I could be at the win today. So it is what it is. All right, the Syracuse Mets, they're home against Buffalo. Buffalo 4-3 victory on Tuesday. Nick Algier picked up the win for them. Rob Zatrani picked up the loss for Syracuse, and very Italian name Vinny Natoli picked up the save for the Bisons on Tuesday. I had to. I'm sorry. Daniel Palka, 2 solo home runs on Tuesday. Francisco Alvarez also picked up an RBI single, and Khalil Lee went 1 for 3 with a run scored there. Wednesday, a 10-3 Buffalo win over Syracuse. Thomas Hatch picked up the win, 7-5. David Pearson took the loss, 2-2 on the year now for him in Syracuse. Nate Fisher, 3 innings out of the bullpen, 2 Ks, but shut him down, kept him at bay. Fresh face at Syracuse, Brett Beatty, 2 for 3, an RBI, walk and run scoring. JT Riddle, 2 for 4 with a double and RBI. Syracuse, however, able to break their mini losing streak, picking up the victory last night at 6-5. RJ Alvarez picked up the win out of the bullpen. Graham Spraker, the loss for Buffalo. And Bryce Montes de Oca picked up the save, his 7th for the Mets. Connor Gray, the pride of Frewsburg, picked up the start yesterday. No decision. 5 innings, 5 hits, 2 earned, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts. Mark Ventos picked up double, 2 RBIs, and 2 runs scored, going 2 for 4. And Brett Beatty, again, 2 for 4, a walk and 2 runs scored. Obviously, mentioned the youth movement here with Syracuse a little bit off air, and we'll bring it to light now. But right-hand pitcher Jose Butto was activated. See right-hand pitcher Tim Allman and Yesny Diaz were released. Right-hand pitcher Joe Zagai was assigned to Double-A Binghamton from Rochester. But Syracuse, pretty much home of these high-end prospects now. We got not only, obviously, Mark Ventos has been there all year. Francisco Alvarez, he's number 19 in the middle there, catcher. But Brett Beatty on the right there, number 2. Obviously, Butto, top prospect as well, officially getting called up to Syracuse there from Binghamton. Jake Mangum's obviously on the IL, but he's been up at Syracuse. The Mets, they're giving these young guys the shot that I think Rochester's finally about to do. And but they've been there, and they've obviously been producing. Alvarez, we know, but Beatty's been producing as well.
The first comment here says Brett Beatty kind of looks like Jeff McNeil from the back.
I can kind of see it, I suppose.
I can definitely see it.
I know it's not the case from the front, but
And him wearing sunglasses too.
Yeah,
Kinda.
that's true. But look, the future is very much so now in Syracuse. I mean, they're giving these guys shots. And look, to be fair, I mean, this was a veteran-oriented team to start the year. They got out of the gate pretty slow, obviously, as we mentioned. But as they've slowly have added the youth to this team, they've produced and have really kind of turned the ship around in a way to the point that they have the same record as Rochester, 48-60, and tied for 8th in the International League East at this point.
Yeah, I feel like these roster moves are just going to make this team much more fun to watch. If you haven't been at the ballpark yet, I feel like this will kind of give you a reason to get out there, especially if you're a Mets fan living in the area.
Right.
Yeah, it's just I think this team is going to be exciting over the rest of the season. And here's a prediction. I know we throw out those a couple times. I think they finish with a better record than the Rochester Red Wings, which I never thought I would say.
It's baseball. Anything's possible. Syracuse obviously home the rest of the weekend against Buffalo to wrap it up. Tonight at 6:35 first pitch. It is their office night. Kate Flannery, who played Meredith, will be there. She'll be making an appearance signing autographs first pitch. Tomorrow night, Saturday, 6:35 first pitch. It's a Phil Reagan bobblehead, if you know who Phil Reagan is. He was the Mets pitching coach, obviously baseball lifer, but most recently I feel like most people recognize him as the Mets pitching coach from a couple of years ago. Also, their Wall of Fame induction night. Phil Reagan is getting inducted, as well as Moses Fleetwood Walker, a Negro Leagues player from Syracuse. There's also a couple other guys going in as well. And then Sunday, just a 105 first pitch. Nothing's really special there. Kids run the bases, but no outright promotions to really report on there. And hopefully, knock on wood, get a couple more of those guys back, get like Jake Mangum back. You have a pretty good youthful roster mixed in with some good veteran presence in Syracuse at this point. All right, that about does it for us here today on Concrete Jungle. Any big plans for the weekend, guys, or are you just laying low?
Laying low.
Laying low. Let me guess, Nate. Golf?
Yep.
Wow.
A little bit of golf, a little bit of laying low.
Never would have thought.
You'll be at Frontier Field tonight.
Yep.
That'll be awesome. Anything else going on this weekend, Paul?
I don't know, but I never would have thought that the hosts of Out of Bounds, a really great golf podcast here on FL1, would go golfing at all.
I know.
Strange. But hey, not to toot other, not to toot horns here. I'm not. I think it goes without saying I'm not a big self-promotion guy or anything like that. But Nate, you and Josh are really killing it on Out of Bounds. It's been awesome to see.
Appreciate that, Paul. We couldn't do it without you behind the scenes.
I think you could.
Our Ricky Fowler fan.
I think you could. Resident Ricky Fowler expert, Paul Russo. Yeah, so for Kyle Evans, Nate Sharman, appreciate everybody for tuning in. If you watch live here on YouTube, catch up anytime after the fact there. Spotify, Anchor, all the major podcasting platforms. Back to our normal schedule next week, Monday and Thursday. I am Ricky Fowler expert, Paul Russo. Have an awesome weekend, everybody. We'll talk to you Monday.